from the disembodied voice inside of your radio. This episode of Slay the Stars is sponsored by the podcast How to Be a Better DM. Check them out at betterdungeonmaster.com/Slay the Stars. On Instagram at How to Be a Better DM Podcast or at Facebook.com/Better Dungeon Master. None of these things make sense, Greg. I need you to explain this to me later. Now, let's get back to the regularly scheduled show, Slay the Stars. This has been the disembodied voice from your radio.
Welcome back to Slay the Stars in episode 40. Oh my god, I can't believe we're at 40, y'all. Last time, Zem and Char were returning to the White Dove Inn after an enlightening dinner at the home of Rena Al-Haran when they spotted a white-cloaked figure aboard the ship in the center of the city. Zem screamed out at the figure, who retaliated with a fireball, and the fight was on.
Fuck that guy.
During said fight, the man was unmasked, revealing Zem's former teacher and confidant, Dalius Ashgard. He pleaded with Zamira to go with him, to give him a chance to explain, to which Zamira replied that she couldn't trust him and wouldn't go anywhere with him. Dalius escaped via a dimension door spell. After all was said and done, Zem and Reg returned to the inn, while Char ran back to Rena's to let her know what happened. He decided to stay there as a safety precaution. They both eventually fell asleep, and will be picking up there the next morning. Char.
Yes.
You wake up. It's early. Is there anything you're trying to do this morning before you leave? Are you trying to sneak out? Like, what's your plan?
I'm not trying to sneak out.
You're not going to walk of shame it?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to sneak out. I'm going to be cautious as shit walking out of this mansion just in case something happened. But I'm not actively, like, cronking my way down the hall. Like,
You should.
I mean, I've got the charisma for it.
Shoulder, elbow.
But yeah, no, because I fell asleep on top of the sheets. I just passed out from exhaustion. Before I forget, I am swapping a spell out, though. I am going to be picking up Zone of Truth for today.
Okay. Dope.
But no, if Rena's there, I might mention something to her, but if not, I'm going to look for the butlers.
All right. So, you head downstairs and you find that breakfast is laid out on a buffet, like in the hall, like not in the dining room. So it seems that Rena was suspecting that you were going to try to sneak out, and so she wanted to put breakfast where you would see it. Most of the items on the buffet are things that can be easily carried, so she's put out hard-boiled eggs, whole fruits, muffins. Are you grabbing a few things? What are you doing?
I'm grabbing some fruit and like a bagel. I'm not taking a lot, but I don't want to be disrespectful by not taking anything. I mean, they took the time to put it out there. I mean, that was very nice of them.
As you are grabbing a couple things and putting them in your
knife.
I don't know. You hear Rena clears
Char,
her
like,
throat behind
jumps
you.
up. Char is a cat, so he jumps to the ceiling. Hi. Oh, hello.
Oh, hi. I was afraid you were going to try to sneak out, so I tried to get ready early. And you see, like, she's done up. She looks good. Hair's done. Makeup's done.
Char still, like, needs to wipe the mascara that's, like, smudged a little bit. He's like, okay, yeah.
You weren't thinking about running away without saying bye, were you?
No, I just did not want to interrupt your morning. I know you're a very busy individual.
Yes, and today, probably busier than usual. My father has put his guards on notice, and Turiel's been made aware of the situation. Hopefully, if Dalius is still in the city, and I suspect that he is, we'll find him.
He has much more magic than I could ever have dreamed of at the moment.
Yes, I mean, I didn't know him, and I, to be completely frank, wouldn't usually be so concerned about a single rogue mage wandering around the city, but I've talked to some of the mages at the Istanome who did know Dalius or of him, and their reaction to this news was kind of shock. Apparently he was not as well regarded as many of the other mages at Stellium.
From what I understand, I think he was a lower circumference? Circle. Circle. That's the word.
Yes, and that's why it was kind of shocking to hear that he was able to not only breach the city, but some of the spells that he was casting were, I mean, they were fairly powerful spells.
Do you think he's been undercutting his skills for this amount of time?
It's possible. He could also have gotten his hands on some substances to increase his abilities.
Substances?
Magical drugs.
That's a thing?
Yes. I mean, it's obviously frowned upon, but...
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yes, and there are side effects.
Well, I'm sure. If I may be frank, I would actually like to talk to you about something, if I may.
Of course, anything.
We had an incident the other night where a ex-town guard made their way into our quarters. I'm assuming you heard about that.
Yes, I am actually going to be the one trying her. I was going to do it today, but I think I'm going to be too busy, so it'll probably have to wait a day or two.
I'm assuming she's still with Turio?
Yes, she's still being held at the barracks.
I would ask that I be allowed to speak with her today.
Of course, I see no issue with that.
I think it would be better to have her as an ally, if at all possible.
Charlemagne, I appreciate your kind-heartedness in this matter, but what Reese has done is almost unforgivable. She could have killed you.
Wouldn't have been the first time.
I understand, but I can't have her free if she's going to be a menace to other people in the city as well.
I understand that. However, maybe her skills are regarded to be better outside of the city.
Are you talking about a banishment?
Maybe on paper only.
And what would stop her from trying to come back into the city or trying to harm you again?
Hope.
I tell you what, Char. You speak with her today. Whatever you come away from that meeting, I will take it under advisement.
I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. I actually had one other thing I wanted to speak with you about as well. And she gets into her pocket and she pulls out this pin, and it looks like it's made of bronze. It looks like a wispy, almost tree, very delicate in its design, and it kind of swoops up from the trunk into these branches that spread out and come back together and kind of tangle together at the top. And you see that there are 5 stars around it, and inside of the branches there is a circular spherical object that probably represents the orb, you're assuming. And she says, "Do you mind?"
Absolutely.
And she steps forward and she pins this pin on your chest. And when it first like touches your shirt, you feel like a bit of warmth there. And she says, "This pin is given to members of mine and my father's personal honor guard. It means that you're trusted by the crown and are sworn to us. I'm not asking for you to make that pledge, only that you keep your word to help my people recover what's been stolen from them."
Rena, I'm not saying...
Stop. What happened last night was unfair, and what happened the night before was scary, and you need protection, and this will help keep you safe.
Is it all right if I don't have this showing all the time?
Of course. It will get you in and out of places in the city more easily, but if you ever need to cover it up for whatever reason, you do as you need to do.
This is an honor. Thank you.
course. As long as you're honest and true and maintain your connection to us, it'll help protect you.
Thank you. You just see like he's kind of like in shock more than anything. It's not a bad shock. Like he's very impressed by the gesture. It's just he's not been trusted to any kind of extent in the past except from Zem.
Yeah.
And this is just a weird feeling for him.
Yeah. And Char, as soon as that pin is there and the warmth subsides, you feel like more physically sound. Your constitution has now become 16. And as long as you remain aligned with the people of Anenfel, it will remain so. This item does require one of your attunement slots, but...
Darn, what a shame that was.
But we're going to play that it immediately attuned to you because Rena herself put it on. So, you are attuned, it exists, your constitution is now 16.
Plus 3. Did that work? Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right, so where are you heading off to first?
I'm assuming it's like 5, 6 in the morning-ish, give or take.
Yeah, it's really early. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go to talk to Reese. And then after that, I have an appointment with a glassmaker.
Well, sounds like a good day. I will let you know if we hear anything of Dalius. Good luck with Reese.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
And he walks out and like continues like his like half bow, like walking backwards down the hall.
She like audibly laughs at you. Like not like making fun of you.
Oh
but
no,
just
100%. Like you can make fun of him. It's just he is the most awkward person ever when it comes to nobility or some people of respect. He's just scared shitless, like in general.
Yes. We will swap over to Zamira. Zamira, you feel the bed sort of shift ever so slightly as Reg is trying to like climb out of bed. You can tell he's trying not to wake you up. He's like being careful, but this bed is actually pretty soft, and so you can feel the movements.
I'm gonna like where are you going?
You ask that and he's like, oh, well, I have things that I need to do, especially if Rafe is coming here. And in that moment, as he's talking to you, Zem, you look outside and you realize it's brighter than you expected it to be. Like you
oh God, what time is it?
I don't know. Maybe close to 7.
Shit. I'm gonna roll portents real quick. That is a 4 and a 7. So someone is failing big time.
I wonder who it'll be.
It might be all of us.
Yes.
So I'm just like I'm gonna jump up and have literally no care to whether or not he stays and what he sees, but I'm gonna start like trying to get ready to run out the door.
Yeah, so shockingly enough, you jump out of bed and you start like throwing like your shirt and stuff off, trying to get other stuff on, and he gives off that aura of a person who'd be like, but he actually like turns his back and is like very awkward, like staring at the wall, like very like straight back, like well, would you like for me to escort you to where you're going? I don't feel right about you going places with Dalius just out running around in the city.
Like kind of breathless as I'm like undoing my braids so that I can redo it, you know, and like jumping on one foot while I'm trying to put the other shoe on kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably like smart. And I wonder if there's like food we can grab. And then I'm just grabbing my bag and I'm kind of like pushing through him, I guess, to like, let's go.
Well, so as you're finishing throwing stuff on, he walks over towards the door. He's like, I'll run down and see if I can get something for and then before he can say dinner, he sees that there's a piece of like, there's like a letter on the floor that's been slipped under your door. Zem, you immediately start having flashbacks. You're like, what in the heck is this? And he leans down and he picks it up and he's like, Do you want me to read it or you?
I'll read it.
Oh. Okay, here. He hands it over to you. You're a little anxious, but you calm down immediately when you open it and see that it's from Rena. And it says, Zamira, Char arrived shortly after your encounter last night and filled me in. I've made my father and the city guards aware of the situation. Char stayed the night here to be safe and says that he will meet you back at the inn around dinner time. Yours, Rena.
Okay. This was just from Rena. Char made his way over to her, so she knows what's going on.
Oh, well, that's good. I was a little concerned that he was going to get himself murdered on the way there, so.
Well, I'm glad to see that wasn't the case. I really wasn't in my right mind to even think about it.
Yeah, that's why I had to make a decision last night. Who was I going to accompany? And of the two, you seemed to be the most out of your mind, so. You got the pleasure of my company
Aw,
last
Reggie,
night.
you care.
So much. So much. You don't even know. And he, like, takes off out the door to run down and get some breakfast for the two of you as you run after him as well. Yes, Arthur?
I'm going to send as soon as I get outside of the mansion, I'm going to send a message to Rafe.
Oh,
But
okay.
I didn't know if you want to, I don't know how early you want to play that with Zem. I just want to let you know that that's coming.
No, you're good. Do it right now.
Oh, okay. I'm just putting Dalius in city, attacked us 3, will be at Blacksmith Glassworks, be cautious on arrival. That was it. Because of the
You get
message
him-
last night was being like, yeah, everything's great. Everything's not great anymore. Everything's bad.
Yeah. You get a message back. 3 days. I will be there in 3 days.
He's gonna leave me alone with Reg for 3 days. He's hurting his chances, man.
Shit biscuits, man. This is
Char.
a dangerous time.
It is. It is. Zem is about you have this like in with this mob boss, and Zem's about to destroy the whole thing by romancing his like second in command.
I fucking love it.
I'm not trying for anything.
Me, Arthur, is so happy about this right now. Char is terrified, but he doesn't know, so it's fine.
Listen, he keeps putting him in positions to save me. What's a girl to do?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, so we're just like running.
Okay, you guys run. Char, you get to the barracks before Zamira. When you walk in, the person at the desk asks your business. They know who you are. Turiel vouches for you. They can see the pin from Rena on your chest. They don't really question you. You're taken back to where Reese is. We're just this is fine.
Zooming
This
past
happens.
it. And by the way,
Yeah.
as soon as I get to Reese, I'm going to try to hide the pin. I don't want that to be a factor in the conversation.
Okay, sure. You can do that. Easy enough. I mean, she's in her cell, so she can see what you're doing before you get there. But you walk into the back room where the cells are. She's in the same cell as you saw her in yesterday, and she's in the same position, just sitting on the floor with her back against the wall. She's awake. She's just staring at the ceiling. She doesn't even look to see who's coming in the room. She looks pretty miserable.
Hello, Reese.
She glances over towards you, and she's like, "What can I do for you now?"
I want to try to help you.
I asked for your help when you were here yesterday, and you walked away, so I assumed you weren't interested.
Char's going to pull up a chair, like the whole, like, dragging it across the floor, loud, metal clanging, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I think it would be I think it would be wrong to not try to help you.
How do you propose to help me? Are you going to speak to Rena on my behalf?
Depending on how this conversation goes.
What do you want to hear from me?
I need you to be honest for 10 minutes. And you're going to have magic cast on you, and I need you to not resist it.
All right.
If you don't want to answer anything, just say I'd prefer not to answer, and I will drop it.
Fair enough.
Ready?
Yes, as ready as I'll ever be, I suppose.
He's casting Zone of Truth.
All right. You can tell she does not resist.
Okay. Why did you try to kill me?
Because you delivered more evidence to the second regarding my sister and what they accuse her of doing.
Do you believe your sister of doing this?
Are you asking me if I believe that she was capable, that she did this of her own free will, or that she was forced to do it?
Let's start with all of them. Do you believe that she was capable of doing this?
Yes.
Do you think that she did it of her own free will?
I can't imagine why she would. We swore our lives to the guard. We love this city. Why would she betray everything? Why would she betray me?
And if you ever ran into her again, would you take her side against all else if she did this of her own free will?
She's my sister.
I need an answer.
Of course I would. Of course I would protect her. If she did this of her own free will, she must have had a reason, and I have to imagine that it was a good one. If it wasn't, and she just wants to see the world burn, then maybe not, but I can't believe that of her.
You had some pretty potent poisons last night.
I did.
Did you make those, or did you acquire them from somewhere?
I made them.
Do you have a supplier in the city?
No.
Do you make your own materials?
I do.
Do you gather them from outside the city?
I do.
Do you think you could teach anybody else to make them?
I could.
Reese, if you were to leave the city, let's call it on a hypothetical mission for the crown, how capable do you think you would be of leaving it and getting safely outside the city, south?
I am an incredibly skilled marksman, and I have many skills, and I know this terrain better than anyone. I could easily get out of this city, and I have no doubt that getting south, though difficult with the current situation, would be possible, especially if there were others accompanying me.
Reese, there was a incident in the city last night, and a very powerful mage made their way in. Do you know anything about that?
No.
And spell's still holding, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an escape plan right now?
I do.
Or are you going to try to take me with you? And by that, he's implying murder.
No.
Or are you trying to take anybody else out before you go?
No.
Do you have any other friends in the city that you can trust right now?
No.
I think that it would be foolish to doubt in any of your skills. And I know you probably don't like that we came in the city under the certain circumstances that we did. But we hold no personal grudges against you or your sister. I don't hold any personal grudges against you or your sister. I cannot speak to the other counterpart of my arrival. And I want you to know that I am sorry for the way things are turning out right now.
As am I.
Do you think that you would be willing to go on a dangerous mission to a very dangerous place?
If you're asking me to accompany you south to find this orb and potentially my sister, then yes, wholeheartedly, I would go on that mission.
There is potentially another... Reese, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that there is a group of people that just want to see the world burn. And I don't know if your sister is one of those people willingly, but she is very much a spark in that situation. there are a lot of places at play, and there is a place with highly, highly trained fighters that might be another spark. And I am fearful of the party that has gone south to investigate.
Well, we can always stop on our way.
Do you believe in gods, Reese?
Believe in them as in they exist or actually worship them, because my answer is different.
Well, what's both of the answers?
They exist, but I do not hold them in any certain regard.
The elves have longer lives than I ever will. And I'm not going to ask how old you are, but do you know much about any of them?
About the gods?
Yeah.
I know what we're taught in school when we're children, but the gods are not a large part of what we do here in Anenfel. And they are not revered as anything to be worshipped because they haven't had any sway on this plane since before any of us who are still alive were born. So I know that they are incredibly powerful beings. I know that they dwell somewhere off in the center of our hub, and that is about it.
Would you believe me if I told you that they were going to return soon?
Yes. Based on everything I've seen, based on the craziness that's happened surrounding the orb, based on all the strange things happening throughout the world, nothing would shock me.
Based on the zone of truth that you're in right now?
Based on that, yeah.
Char's not going to say anything else, but he is going to unhide his pendant, the Amara necklace.
Whenever you, reveal your pendant, she leans forward and she says, "What I don't understand is why you short-lived people are always so willing to lick the boots of these celestial beings."
So I take it you're not a fan.
Most elves are not.
Let's call it a agreed relationship that benefits both parties.
Certainly. And I mean, it makes sense. I understand what you get in the trade.
We don't have as long to live.
No. It's sad.
To be honest, I don't know if that's a bad thing.
To be perfectly honest, I think there's some truth to that. I know many of my kind who have lived entirely too long and hung around long after they were welcome, So are you going to get me out of here? Is that what's happening?
I'm going to try.
All right. Well, try hard. Because this sucks.
I know.
I want you to know that I am sorry.
I will never fault someone in pain for going about ways that they think will help them make themselves feel better. And I know that you are in pain, and I'm not going to pretend to understand what you're going through. But I hope that at the very least I can help you make it a little easier. And for what it's worth, I really hope that your sister didn't do this of her free will.
Yes. For my sake as well as hers.
Do you know of anybody that was in contact with you or your sister around the time that was from outside the city?
No. I wish I did. I would have told everybody long ago who it was.
Well, I think that it's a waste to have you in here. And he's going to get up. And if when you get out of the city and someone contacts you, try not to be too angry. I'm not asking you to lick bootstraps. And he's going to walk away.
She doesn't say anything. She just shakes her head and watches you leave. Char, you are able to slip out before Zamira shows up. Zem, you arrive running to the barracks. Reg is like, okay. Honestly, I'm surprised you were able to keep up with me. You must be really excited to be here.
I'm very determined to not be a liability.
Zamira, you are never a liability to anybody. Do you want me to stay, or do you mind if I go take care of some things?
It's up to you. I mean, you can stay, but I think there's plenty of guard around, so I should be fine. So it's your call.
All right, well, I'm going to go. I need to set some things up. Rafe is going to be here any day now, so things need to be done. Things need to be done. But I will meet you back at the inn this evening.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Good luck. And he takes off.
We interrupt your previously scheduled broadcast. I'm being handed another script as we go, so we would like to thank our #1 fan on Patreon, Kay. Go to patreon.com/slaythestars. What do you mean they can listen from their phone?
Zamira, you enter the barracks and you are taken out back. So there is like a side door that leads out into like a training yard setup. And there are about like 24 guards there in this training session. And Turiel is in the front, kind of just starting to give his spiel about what's happening for the day. And he sees you come in just like a smidge late. And roll me an insight check.
Cramp. 8.
Okay. He looks slightly annoyed and he's just like, he waves at you to come like join the rest of
Like,
the
I mean,
group.
I'm clearly like sweaty and breathing heavy like
Yeah.
a trad, man.
Yeah. And he's just like, today we're going to start with some stretching, then small arm combat. We'll end with some strength training or agility training, whichever you all want to do for the day. We don't have a lot of time to waste because we have extra assignments now with this renegade wizard in the city. So let's get started. And you see everybody starting to spread out a little bit to get a little space between them. And he starts leading everybody through what it starts out as like yoga poses.
Okay.
To basically start stretching. Zem, what is your experience with like PT and yoga and things
I
like that?
probably would not have done like. So I mean, I think that I like yoga is probably something that I've done before, but not consistently. So I'm probably familiar with those poses, but if they go off into the harder poses, that's
Okay. Yeah, so at first, like, downward dog, like, all you like got this. You're like, oh, I'm already doing so good. And then they start doing like more of the balance oriented stuff, and you're like, oh, this is rough. And then they start doing some like really advanced poses, and I need you to roll me an acrobatics check. And so just know that every check that we do from here until the end of this, you are going to gain points towards training either strength or dexterity. Which of the two are you trying to train?
Strength.
All right.
I mean, neither are great, but like strength's real bad. I rolled a 10.
All right. Honestly, you get to the harder poses and you're definitely struggling to keep your balance and you're falling, but you're not like knocking into other people. You just, you kind of look like a new beginner who's a little in over her head, but you're doing all right. And finally, Turiel does like a kip up from his back and you get the feeling he's like showing off a little bit, and you don't know if it's for your benefit or because he's there in front of his people, maybe a little bit of both. And he's just like, all right, enough. Grab your small weapons. And he walks over towards you and he says, you'll be paired with me today. You were a little late coming in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a rough night.
Well, I can imagine, with the whole getting attacked by a wizard thing. That was not great.
It would have been nice to have one more person there.
I'm sorry I wasn't there. I went home after our exciting dinner.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just saying I think we can both maybe ease up on each other.
No, absolutely. No, I agree. I'm sorry if I've seemed a little out of sorts. It's just haven't really slept much, and seems like every day more bad things are happening.
I really am sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's not your fault.
She I'm gonna look at my feet yeah.
He's like, Zamira, it's not your fault.
Okay. I don't believe that at all.
What weapon, he says, what weapon are you going to be training with today? Something that you already know how to use or something new?
I mean, I've used this dagger a couple of times.
All right, perfect. And he says, I'm not wearing any armor. I'm not armed. Strike me.
Don't you have like a practice one? I don't want to hurt you.
You're not going to hurt me. Strike me.
Okay.
I need to see your form.
Okay. And then I'm just gonna try to stab him, slash him. I don't know.
Okay. Roll your attack with your dagger.
All right. Let's see. No shit.
You did not just
I
crit.
Really did. Oh my god. I hate that. But I did. I did nat 20 plus 4.
So we're done, right? Like, no more training. We did it.
You stab him in the throat. He's dead.
Like, I hate this. I don't want to have this nat 20.
You could use one of your bad portent
No,
rolls.
I don't want that either. All right. We'll keep the nat 20 because I'm not giving up a portents roll.
Okay. So, he says, attack me. And you pull out the dagger and you don't even hesitate. He expected you to kind of wait a second and try to size him up or whatever, but you just spin and lunge to stab towards him, and he goes to deflect it, but he's just a little too slow, and you end up making a deep gash across his left forearm.
I immediately drop the blade.
And he's just oh.
Immediately drop it.
He looks down and he's like, that was not what I expected.
I feel like I'm me either. I'm sorry.
Okay, Zem, I need you to make an athletics check.
It's an 11 plus athletics. That's an 11 minus 1, so that is a 10.
Okay, so he leans forward and grabs his arm, and you drop the dagger, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And he immediately grabs one of your arms and flips you over onto the ground and pulls out his own dagger and holds it at your throat. And he says, don't ever drop your weapon.
I just, I didn't mean to draw blood. Except I'm probably not even doing that because I probably have the wind knocked out of me from being thrown on my back.
Yeah. He stands up and he puts his own dagger away, and he says, you asked me to train you.
I'm gonna stare at the sky for a second. Warring with myself between being annoyed for being put on my back and also being like, I can't believe I drew blood. And so I'm just going to swallow my pride and swallow my confusion and stand up and brush myself off and say, all right, I'll pick up my dagger.
And he holds his hands up again. He says, again, attack me.
10 to hit.
Okay. This time you swing out at him and he easily deflects your dagger. I need you to make another athletics check.
4.
And he twists your arm behind your back and like not hard enough to like hurt your wrist, but enough to like make your nerves jump, and it drops the dagger. And he holds you there for a second and he says, "You have to be ready for when people parry." And then he lets go.
I'm mad.
All right.
Did she accidentally take a barbarian level from this?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
All right. One more time. Come on.
13.
All right. This time you go for like, instead of a stab, you go for a slash, and I need you to make another athletics check.
A dirty 1? Because I rolled a 2.
Dirty 1. So you go to slash and it catches you off balance a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, no, no, no." And he just like takes one of his feet and like puts it between your 2 feet, and you just go like ass over tea kettle, sprawling on the ground, falling down. And he comes over to you, and he has like a little bit of a smirk on his face, and he puts out his hand to help you up. And he says, "You got 1."
I'm going to slap his hand away. Like, I got it. And I'll get up.
Don't be mad.
I'm not mad at you.
You're doing really well. Honestly, what you need to do, Zamira, is being angry and frustrated is not a bad thing if it's channeled correctly. You can't let it get away from you. You have to let it feed your focus rather than the opposite.
I don't know how to do that.
I want you to try one more time. But this time, I want you to focus the frustration you feel. But instead of letting it burn, letting it be, let it be anger, use it as determination.
Okay.
And Zamira, before you make this attack, I would like for you to roll me a wisdom check.
17 plus a wisdom check?
Yeah.
It's a 17.
All right. Still very good. You can roll this next attack with advantage.
All right. So the attack is a 15 to hit.
That is hit.
And then the athletics is a 16.
All right. So this time you go to attack him and you slash, and you managed, you watch as you see his arm coming out to grab your wrist, and you go just below that, and he gets knocked a little off kilter this time. And you get in there, you don't want to hurt him, so you spin it around to the back of the blade and you kind of like hit him in the gut, and you won the athletics check this time as well. What would you like to happen?
Death from above.
You hit him. You knock the wind out of him a little bit. You have the upper hand.
So I hit him in the gut. So we're facing each other still?
Yes.
So does he like double over? Like not double over, but like he hunches?
Yeah, he like hunches in a little bit.
So I want to then like hold my dagger to his throat with that. Like just come up to it like I don't want to actually hold my dagger to his throat, but just like I could.
Yeah. No, and he like you're a fast student.
I've been told that yep. I just didn't think I could do it with the physical part.
You can do it. It's just, I mean, it'll take some time like anything else to work on.
Okay. Can we go again?
Well, I'm running out of time. So we need to move on to the last part of training. And he says, "Okay, everybody, let's just move on to strength or agility training. Zamira, you want to do strength training?"
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. And he takes you over to this section of the yard, which is clearly just like for lifting weights. You know, they got racks of weights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and he was like, "Let's just see how you do."
5-pound dumbbell.
Yeah, let's see how you do. And he comes back over with basically, yeah, like a 5-pound dumbbell, and hands it to you, which, I mean, you can easily lift it.
Drop it on his foot.
But basically for this part, I just need you to make me an athletics check.
All right. I mean, that is negative. Unbelievable. It's a 2.
All right. So you're just using this 5-pound dumbbell and you're like, oh, this is nothing. And you get like, I don't know, like a set of 10 in and you're like, my arms kind of hurt. Like,
We're a little sore.
this kind of sucks. Yeah. And so, but you're like, I don't want to be the only one using this one. So you go over, you get like a slightly heavier weight and you're trying like really hard to lift this thing up. And you kind of like waste a lot of time because you're, you're just messing around.
Like my form is terrible.
Your form is terrible. You would notice that none of the other guards, either they're just not paying attention to you, because they're trained to like not be rude or whatever, but or maybe it's because you're training specifically with Turiel and they don't want any shit from him, but nobody's like really bothering you about anything. Eventually, we finish up with this and Turiel says, you did really well today, Zamira.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, even though I hurt from my scalp to my toes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're welcome to come back in the mornings if you want, if this is something you want to continue to pursue.
I do.
Honestly, you've hung in better than I expected. And I mean that in a good way, not in a rude way.
I wasn't going to take it in a rude way, but now I have questions, but okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, where are you headed to after this?
I have to meet someone at Ellen Istinome for some studying.
Oh, do you want I could send one of the guards with you to escort you.
I gotta go back and change. These clothes are disgusting. I was rolling on the ground.
That is true. You are very sweaty. If you want, if you come back tomorrow, just bring a change with you. You can shower here, and then you wouldn't have to, go back and...
I should have thought of that. I was just running late and I had to leave.
No, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna... Actually, is there someone that might be able to take me back? I'm a little nervous with him in the city.
No, absolutely. That's totally fine. And you see Turiel walk over to like the biggest, beefiest dude in the yard. And he says something to him. The guy just kind of nods, doesn't say anything, and comes walking back over. And he says, he'll make sure you get there safe.
Thank you.
Yes. Not a problem. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning.
I'm gonna salute.
Yeah. And if Char wants to come as well, feel free to bring him.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Zem.
Oh, he looks at you and he's like, oh, hi, Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. What the fuck, man? His name is Joe.
Yeah, his name's Joe.
I'm Joe. I'm a punching bag. We're gonna be good friends.
Yep.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
So you been here long?
No, not too long. I'm pretty new.
You're new?
No, not like super new, but like new for here.
Okay.
Come on, let's go.
Not a big conversationalist, are you, Joe?
I lift things up and put them
Oh,
down.
okay.
I love to imagine that Joe just like picks her up and puts him on his shoulder. And it's just like, all right, we're here. Because he takes like
I'm
3
just
steps.
gonna pat him on his beefy bicep and just, okay, Joe.
You want I carry you?
No. Let's go.
All right. So the two of you head back to the White Dove Inn so that you can get changed. Joe will also escort you to the school just to be safe.
Okay, when I get back to my room, I'm gonna like bathe.
Okay. When you get back to your room, you notice a large trunk in the room that was not there when you left.
Creepy. Okay. So, I is it locked? Like,
It is not locked, and there is a note on top of it.
It says, I'm a mimic.
yeah, I'll pick up the note and I'll read it.
You immediately notice that it's the same stationery that you got the note from Rena on earlier.
Okay.
And when you open it, it says, I went a little overboard. I'm sure there's something here for you to love. Rena.
Oh, yeah.
She's a goddamn
Oh,
saint.
yeah. And then I'm like, and I like drop the note and I like rip off the bag that I was carrying and I like fling the trunk open.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just packed full with dresses, pants, blouses, shoes, literally anything you can possibly imagine is probably in this trunk.
Rena is amazing. And I'm gonna pick out a couple of things like a dress and like a top and whatever. And I'm not tossing them, but I'm really excited to see the next thing. And like I'm just gonna drape a couple things on the bed and then like look around and there's shit everywhere. I'm like, I should put this away. Do I have enough time to like put stuff away?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Erevan, you just told him you'd be there sometime in the afternoon, so it's not, you don't have like a time crunch here.
Okay. Then I'm going to take some time to pick out an outfit, put everything else away. Like I don't know if it's like folded into drawers or whatever, but
Yeah.
And actually I think I'm gonna unpack
Okay.
like my bags and stuff. Like I haven't done that.
Okay. So you get into your you put away the new stuff, you get into your old stuff, and you start being like, I'm throwing this away, I'm throwing this, I don't need this garbage anymore, like just getting rid of stuff. And you get to the bottom of your trunk, and you notice there are a lot of items that you have collected along the way that you haven't really had a chance to look much into. Like both of the orc journals are still there.
Oh, shit.
The pen that goes with them is still there. The wand that Dell gave you
Oh my god, I forgot about the wand.
is in there. And at the bottom of the trunk, wrapped in like a blanket, you find the wooden katana that you got for Char back in Morbale.
The one I carved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it wrapped in the blanket. I'm gonna put it in the bag of holding as well as the wand.
Okay.
And like some notebooks and the books and stuff that I got from Erevan before. And then I'm gonna pick out an outfit. I'm probably just gonna go something simple like black pants, boots, and a simple top.
Okay.
Black pants and a black top and black boots, but I'm gonna pair it with that fancy cloak that I got from Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna go bathe and then get redy, and then I want to take all of that with me.
Okay, easy enough. Char, during all this, you make it to the glassworking forge, and Jay is there, currently working the forge. He grins when he sees you coming in good-naturedly, and he's like, "You're a little late, but I suppose I can overlook it. Come, let's get to work."
I'm sorry. Yeah, sure.
And he hands over a list of items that need crafting, and you're like, oh, like, what is this going to be? And there's literally just one line, and it says 100 potion bottles.
All right.
And you can see that it's written in, like, very hurried, scribbled Elvish, Elenistonome. So this is clearly an order for the school.
All right. Where shall I start?
Listen, if you can finish this in one day, you can make whatever you need today. But he looks over, he's like, we have molds for the bottles. You're going to need to do 5 racks of 20. If you break any, you have to start over again, obviously.
Right.
Is there anything you need? Do you need me to show you how it works, or?
No, I've actually done this before. I'm ready to go.
All right, then you get to work, and I will get to work, and I'll check on what you create when you're done.
Let's do this.
Okay. So, Char, the main things I need for you are a con save, because you're going to be working in this hot-ass furnace all day to fill this order.
Okay.
Secondly is a dex check with proficiency to see how well your work goes.
Okay, so do you want me to just cast guidance consistently, or would you rather I use like enhance ability for the first hour, give or take?
So this would be two separate things, right? So
Right.
you can cast guidance on the dex checks to make the items, but since this is a con save for the entire day that you're working, you would need enhance ability to make that work.
Okay, so all right. So I'm going to burn a spell slot for enhance ability for con.
Okay.
Then I want to make sure that I'm reading the spell correctly. Give me 1 second.
So Bear's Endurance gives you advantage on Constitution checks and 2d6 temporary hit points, but I will be kind of benevolent and give you advantage on the Constitution save for this as well, if you're going to use second level.
I mean, if it's going to be a con save, then I'm just going to flip it over to bless then. If it's not, because if the spell says it's not going to work on the checks, I'm fine with just swapping it to bless.
Okay, cool. Bless it
and
is.
just add that.
Bless it is. So con save with a d4.
That's a 10. Plus 4, so 14, 15, 16, 17 with the con save.
Good enough. No exhaustion. You managed to work through the day without issue. And how do your bottles turn out?
The molds I like to imagine have like more intricate designs, like leaves, like kind of like wrapped around the bottles than like a typical just like spell bottle, just from the molds themselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're pretty consistently like spell bottles. Like they have the same like pintage, I guess.
Okay. Roll me that dex check.
Let's do this. That's actually 2 really good. I almost flipped my dice tray because it's on like, ow, son of, fuck.
Stop grabbing the pointy d4s.
I'm not trying. 17, 19.
All right.
After stabbing myself 5 times with a fucking d4.
Jay comes walking back in the room and he says, "All right, let's inspect what you've gotten done." And he starts looking at the first rack of bottles that have already cooled. And you see him pick it up. And he looks at you. And you hear him mumble under his breath in like Elvish, like, beginner's luck. He puts it down.
Are they not okay?
And he doesn't say anything. His eyes are just sort of narrowed. He's looking at you. He goes to the second rack and he pulls one of the bottles and he looks at it. And he's like, "Who taught you to do this?"
I used to work in Salt Spire.
Your technique is very good for somebody who doesn't do this for a living.
Maybe I'm just hopped up on adrenaline from last night.
Maybe. Well, I mean, feel free to make yourself whatever you need. Is there anything else you need? This is fine work.
Did you not need any more for today?
I mean, this was what I set aside for you to do today. And I mean, it's taken you probably like an hour to an hour and a half per rack. So it's taking you most of the day. It's getting into the late afternoon now. And he's like, no, take some time for yourself. But other than making some glass items for yourself, was there anything else that you needed?
Do you happen to know where one could go get some powdered silver?
I mean, I actually have my own supplier here. I use it for details in some of the items that I create.
Can I?
How much did you need?
25 golds worth.
All right. Finish making what you need. I'll get you what you need.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So you take some time to craft what you are making for yourself. Char, what are you making?
I think Char's just going to make 3 basic bottles because he's trying to get potion, holy water, and poison.
Okay.
So 1 for each.
Perfect. You make those 3 things, and by the time...
And if he's just gonna do another tray at that point.
Okay, yeah. You make another 20 bottles. And you finish doing that. Takes about an hour, hour and a half for them. Because, I mean, it only takes you like a minute to pour the glass, but then the whole cooling process is where it really takes a long time. And as you're finishing up, he comes back out and he's like, "All right." And he hands you like a bag.
Okay, yeah. He's going to pull out... Shit, how do I have this set up? Oh, it's mostly in platinum. That's not good. 2 platinum pieces and 5 gold pieces.
No, just one of the platinums is fine.
Oh, thank you.
You've done great work, and great work should be rewarded.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Feel free to take as many of those extra bottles as you'd like. I'm gonna send the rest up to the school. They can use them, and sometimes they throw in a little tip if I send them some extra stuff.
That'd be good. Do you go, or do you have somebody else deliver it?
Oh no, I have somebody who delivers.
Okay.
You're welcome to come back any day. I could use you around the shop.
I would try to swing back tomorrow if you have another order to fill.
I always have orders to fill, and if you don't have anything you need to make for yourself, I'd be happy to pay you for your work.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. My name's Janice, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Nice to officially meet you.
It's nice to officially meet you as well.
All right. And Janice goes back about his work. And Char, where are you heading after this?
I remember you mentioning last time that there was a clothing place for like more basic clothes, not like high-end, like fancy shit.
Sure, yeah.
Char wants to go get like normal ass fucking clothes, like, cause he feels very uncomfortable with like dress clothes. And also, I think technically he is still in his attire from last night.
Okay.
Which isn't exactly ideal, but he wants elven version of his like monk attire.
Okay.
Like it might be a little tighter, but he needs it to be effective and efficient.
Okay, perfect. So, Char is going to head on his way to get some new clothing.
Also another cloak. I like cloaks.
Another cloak. Zem is on her way to the school. And I think that's where we're going to pick up next time, because we've already used all our time up. Thanks, guys.
I want to keep going.
Okay. Greg, I understand that you think you are making sense to me, right? But you're saying things like Facebook and Instagram and Podbean and Spotify like they mean something to me. I'm just a casual 1940s voice from the radio. These things do not make sense to me. What is a add it in post? A promo? I don't understand. No. If you say, and you hand me a script that says, we are sponsored by How to Be a Better DM, that I can read. I do not understand it. Right? So if you go on Instagram, which I do not understand at all, and say, you can find How to Be a Better DM podcast at betterdungeonmaster.com/slaythestars, or at How to Be a Better DM podcast on Instagram, or facebook.com/betterdungeonmaster, I can read the fucking script. I do not understand it. What are these things? What do you mean we're going to have a promo in post?
What would you like to do? It's the question that every DM asks every player at least once in their career. That question has led to more stories than any other question on the planet. But how do you turn that question into an amazing story? That's a question we answer on our show, How to Be a Better DM. For those crazy individuals who want to pretend like they can control the story, How to Be a Better DM is the perfect place to learn how to dungeon master without spending extra money or extra time. You'll get tips and techniques to avoid the significant pitfalls of dungeon masters everywhere. We have episodes coming out every Thursday morning, and we can't wait for you to roll initiative with us. Go to betterdungeonmaster.com/slaythestars, SLAYTHESTARS, for more information.
Our theme music was created by the incredibly talented Isaac Vyers. Our character art, found on slaythestars.com, was created by the wonderful Cam Gonzalez. Slay the Stars is made possible by the audio engineering wizardry of Arthur Polino, graphic artistry of Jen Kearney, and the production wisdom of me, Leah Hemrick. Thanks for listening, and as always, per somnia ad astra.